chalo Jesu konsho kongaya amalanda no kuilishanya ubupina no kubulilwa file pongo mokange mfula pakulaya amatonton kanyoya lilembwa afin Sofia makalamba imisepela abaichene fitekwa mwema kufi yandi mwinenuka we mutima wantino besalapuka fi mwandanshi nemi pashia kowela teti fi chimfye lesa wamweo teti fi chimfye lesa wamilalo imemana masabifya mambwe umufundo ponse wanyanta imiti namane mpanga umutata kuya amabwena yo mintapendwa nababo mfili bumba lelo bunonshi bwabafye pamapepala infula kwena ilaloka umutende twimba pofye pefye lelo tushala pofyende chi sungumukanwa mwema kufi yandi mwinenuka we mutima wantino besalapuka fi mwandanshi nemi pashia kowela teti fi chimfye lesa wamweo teti fi chimfye lesa wamilalo ukupepa kwena tula pepa no kufunga nipa mushi amasambili ronayo nileka ukubomba nako tula bomba gabashana bakabalwe uluchelo akasuba elonobushiku usheni nkande afita nangula mano ayacheba na chuchuti kamwe tata jebeniko mwema kufi andi mwinenuka we mutima wantino besalapuka fi mwandanshi nemi pashia kowela teti fi chimfye lesa wamweo teti fi chimfye lesa wamilalo mwema kufi yandi mwinenuka we mutima wantino besalapuka fi mwandanshi nemi pashia kowela teti fi chimfye lesa wamweo teti fi chimfye lesa wamilalo fi mwa pashia kowela teti chimfie lesa wamweo teti chimfie lesa.
Good evening. My name is Lawrence, and this is Ubuntu Politics on Ubuntu channel. It's a Tuesday, and thank you so much for joining us and for being with us on Ubuntu channel. Remember, we are live every day at 20 hours as we bring to you various programs that cater for various kind of viewership or viewers. And please make sure that you drop us a comment so that we can know what you think of each of our program. This is a Tuesday, and every Tuesday, just like every Tuesday, we have politics on Ubuntu. And today is a very special program because we are looking at something that you, the people out there, are talking about today. Brilliant stuff, and hopefully you are going to enjoy this particular program. Remember, uh, we are always willing and interested to hear what you think on each and every broadcast of ours. The topic this evening is compensations for UPND officials, and this is what you people are talking about this particular day because of something that happened yesterday. Now, let me give a brief background of what is happening. It seems that ever since the UPND formed government, officials from the ruling party have been suing the state for various reasons. And the attorney general has been very courteous enough to be giving them consent judgments, and these matters are being settled outside court. And these officials walking out with colossal sums of money as compensation for various atrocities that they believe were committed to them by the state in the years that the Patriotic Front, especially, was in government. To discuss this particular topic, I'm with Himba. I always start with the ladies first. With ladies, Himba, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Good evening, Valole, and good evening, viewers. Good evening, Mukelabai. Twamisengela, twamitambula, twamipokerera, tamilandilani kuli konse kwe mutitambila from where you're listening us, or where you've joined us from. We are so happy and grateful to be with you as we discuss this interesting topic which borders on our lives and the development of our country, Mother Zambia.
Thank you. And also we have Mukelabai joining us as well this evening. Mukelabai, good evening, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us this particular evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rollins, and good evening, viewers. Kimanzibwani, komulutwela kaufela, mambumbu yaliambai, ndibali vingi, basesheke, kalabo, senanga kaoma, kiruna vake rumitela ni makande ama politics. Ni aike kulibinzi kwa hule, mazewe yalu na inzi kwa ndo kwa hae. Ni alusikali balabatiri.
Okay, let's get started. Himba, I'm going to start with you. Ruling party officials suing the state for crimes, some of them which are dating back as early as probably 2016. Does it look right for you?
Thank you so much, Valore. We are talking about the rule of law here. You know, sometimes I think this is a lesson to us, the Zambian people. I'm going to start with the citizen. When we are ushering people into offices, especially these government offices, let's take it personal. Let's look at our interest and first our personal interest. Second, our family interest. And thirdly, the country at large. When we usher these people into political offices, we are basically trusting them with our national assets. We are trusting them to make decisions on our behalf and also to protect our lives. And whatever things they do in this government, they are doing it on our behalf in these offices. They are doing it on our behalf and they're making a decision for us. The officials from the UPND, let's not look at them as officials. Let's look at them as Zambian. The first thing we have to ask ourselves, if the people who were in the offices at that particular time, they acted responsibly and made the right decisions, do you think we'd have found ourselves in this position we are? Do we think the government, or do you think we should have been paying this money we are paying at the moment? Because when a citizen feels traumatized, victimized, they've got the right to sue the state. And even when, like, I'm going to give an example. We just lost a young boy 2 weeks ago. That boy was killed by an officer who was representing the Zambian government. So basically, as the Zambian, we killed that boy. This is how we should be looking at things. We killed that boy, and whatever will happen, the Zambian government has to cough. So this is how we should look at what kind of people do we usher into offices. I've seen, for me, these people to claim compensation, they are Zambian people. And if they feel their rights were infringed, they've got the right to claim for compensation. It doesn't matter whether they are PF, whether they are UPND, whether they are from Kwahae, they are from wherever, as long as they are Zambians. They are.
Okay. Let me bring in Mukelabai on this. I'm going to twist the question a little bit, and I'll ask it like this. Let's remove government away from it. Let's look at it from an organizational point of view. Mukelabai. In this case, I'm looking at when ministers are the ones suing the state. You are in an organization operating at a top level, and you are suing this very organization that you represent. Is it morally right?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Well, your question is very clear. That minister you are calling a minister, if his rights were violated by the state and he decides to take the matter to court in his individual capacity, not as a minister, and I believe he had taken this matter to court before he even became a minister. And matters of such kind and take time. They take a little bit of time. And now that he has been appointed, he was appointed as a minister. The question is, should he drop his claim? Should we forget about his rights that were violated, the trauma that he underwent, that he was subjected to? Because this minister, we are talking about Tayari, Honorable Tayari.
And also the people who were arrested.
By the way, just as a point of correction, Frank Tayari actually sued the state on the 9th of March this year.
Yes, if he sued the state on the 9th of March this year, that simply means that for one to decide to sue the state, you must have, for one to have decided to go to court, it means that you must have exhausted all the channels outside trying to resolve the matter outside court settlement. And then if all these channels, all the administrative issues failed to work, the minister is at liberty. He is at liberty to sue the state, even when he is working for the state. Because right now we are talking about his fundamental rights, his human rights that were violated. And if he has got a case and he's got a justification for his claim, why not? Why should we start pointing a finger just because he's a minister? He's a human being and whose rights were violated. But I know the question you're asking. You are asking in a line of people because they are in authority. This might seem to be abusing their authority. I don't think so.
No.
The abuse part can come in if he did not commit, if he was never violated, if he never, if his rights were not violated or infringed upon by the state. But he's got a probable cause. And for him to even go to court, he's got a case. And for the court to even grant him, or this matter was exhausted and they decide to compensate him, this it's up to the, because they know that yes, truly this gentleman's
Mukelabai,
rights were
Mukelabai,
violated
I think,
and he deserved to be
Mukelabai, I
compensated.
that is where the problem actually comes into with from the public. The public is actually very amused at how the Attorney General is not even contesting these issues, and instead is just giving out all these demands outside
Why,
court,
why
not really even.
contesting? Why contesting when the case is
It's
straightforward?
straightforward.
Hmm? Why
Basically,
contesting?
let
Just
me
because?
also come in, Mukelabai, on this one.
Yeah.
I want to give an example. If I'm working in a company and then my director comes and touches me in an appropriate manner, don't I have the right to sue him or to sue the company?
You do have the right, but the timing of the suit
and
is
what if
where
she
there is
what
a
if
little bit
she's
of a bond.
what if
Let me
she's
just
appointed?
move away from William Banda. Remember, the issue of William Banda happened in 2020, and he had to wait 3 years to the time when they are in power to sue the state. Let's look at another example. We have obviously Mr. William Banda, who also uh, actually uh, has just recently sued the state, that is on the 15th of November, sued the state for an incident that happened in 2017. The question is, why from 2017 we have Mr. William Banda, who has been quiet, has never even lodged in a complaint to go with the court to say I am entitled to this, has to wait up to a time when the party that he represents is in power. And remember, we have an attorney general who was recently just put in there, appointed in there, and it makes all of it look like it's a scheme.
I basically,
You know,
here it takes people to understand. Only a person who understands deeper and who could really be honest. In the first place, let us be honest as Zambian people. If William Banda had gone to the court when this issue happened, do you think he would have been given an audience?
Wait, are you in all honesty trying to say the court has been compromised all along?
Yes. It's not even, it has been, and it has been compromised. It's actually rotten.
no, it was.
Yeah. So now, do you think if Tayali had gone to court that time, he was going to be granted a platform? And these people we have in offices, you know what I'm trying to say? And if these cases, I am a cases, when you go to court, it's a very dicey situation. Or even if you think you are right, to say that you are wrong. In my issues, court, the way they interpret the law, it's totally different. And now whether you are a minister, whether you are not a minister, as long as you are a Zambian, you feel your rights were infringed, you have the right to sue the government. And I'm sure it's also a learning lesson to the Zambian people. Have you seen where they've landed us now? And if the Attorney General has opted to settle these matters outside court, I feel it would cost us more than what is costing us now. Let's sort these matters outside the court. I'm sure they've looked at all the alternatives, and this is the best option which they've looked at, and this is how they've thought we can go further. But to tell you the truth, whatever they are doing for me, whether in PF, whether in MMD, whether in Ndani, they've got the right to sue the government. And even us Zambian people, let us start suing the government. Even where we feel they've not protected our interests, let's sue the government so that the government, they should be acting in a right way well in those offices.
All right. Remember, our viewers, we will be glad to hear what you think about this particular discussion. And just to emphasize, remember that all the views expressed on this particular program do not represent the views of Ubuntu Channel or what it stands for. Bear in mind of that. That is a disclaimer that I had to remind you, our viewers, of. Now, Himba, let's look at the basis of the calculations here. First and foremost, we have for just pointing a gun at Minister Tayali, he got away with 530,000 kwacha. That is 450,000 kwacha for his compensation and 80,000 kwacha for his lawyers. While a lot of people have actually been locked up in police cells. People who are not politically exposed have been locked up in police cells many and countless times, and there has never been such kind of a compensation. What exactly what kind of a precedent are we setting out there? Anything that happens to you, any citizen, you have the right to sue the state, and the state will do the same and settle these issues outside court. Is that what we are setting as a precedent?
Balole, itikabwela kunkani yalamulo kulibe shortcuts. In the first place, those people you're talking about, did they sue? Because they should be a complainant for the case to be handled. So if they didn't sue, maybe they are okay with what happened to them. And then when you're talking to the issues of trauma or somebody, how they feel their rights were infringed, it's not about you, the spectators out there, with the way you look at the situation. It's how the victim felt. That's what they'll look at. It's how the victim, if Lawrence I insult you or chimbuya, that doesn't matter. It's how you felt. And again, it also depends on your legal personnel, the way they argue the case in court. So even if muntu anamumanga sanabe, he was innocent, and he was innocently locked up or mistakenly locked up. If they didn't complain, if they didn't sue, there's nothing the government can do about it. So a case can only be handled if there's a complainant, and then that complainant now, they push that's when they can, but what government's and this is how now the Zambian people, we need to be informed. The only thing I'm a bit uncomfortable, it's the sums of money. I think, okay, I don't know what they've looked at it. Me, zanipakira maningi. I mean, I feel that is too much. But basically, I don't know how the Attorney General has arrived on that. But when it comes to law, my brother, there are no shortcuts. Even if Kumankalama cases against the government, if there's no complainant, in our country, we don't even know that if napitira traffic lights, napitira traffic lights, then pali chimutengo chenzi chavimba pa traffic lights inayaone. Babwana wakaniiminika. I've got the right to sue the local authorities for not clearing paja uti nipite bwino niyaone. The police will make me pay and they will punish me. But I also have the right to take the local authorities to court. So problem yala mulo iye bati uza wakateka to rule of law yali shupako takwa bama shortcuts. So people should not cry foul. They should only cry foul if they follow the procedures.
Okay, Mukelabai. Frank Tali is pointed by the police with a gun, walks away with 530,000 kwacha. Young Frank Mugala is actually shot. The family walks away with 500,000 kwacha. Where is why the disparity?
Did the family complain about that? Did they lodge in a case?
They have been compensated actually 500,000 kwacha.
Did they complain that the compensation was not enough? Did they reappeal that they were not happy about that?
What we are looking at is how they are arriving at these sums that they are giving away. If this was actually given outside court as 530,000 total for a minister for being pointed at a gun, what should we expect for someone who was actually shot?
Well, thank you. These are issues that that you won't understand properly if we were to explain in simple terms. But from the legal point of view, when you are suing for damages or any injury that you may have suffered, or the pain and suffering or punitive damage, you can put up a figure of your choice. Okay? And it is now it is up to the court to look at what you are claiming, whether it's justifiable and it's fair and it is within your claim. And also the court can also add on some kind of compensation. That compensation is trying to put you in a position that you were before. You were subjected to such trauma. Otherwise, it is up to you to put up a claim. For example, if your fingertip is cut off, do you know how much you can be given? You don't know. You have to either look at how they are going to calculate. They look into the issue of that disability. First of all, is the pain that you suffered, and also if your disability is 100%, or if it is 50%. And now the person that can assess such kind of disability will be a medical practitioner that will explain. And then they will go into monetary form. They will look at what is the reasonable price, because you can claim even 10 million, even 20 million, because it is how you yourself feel. But when it's reasonable, then the court may try to strike a balance to say, how would we make this person satisfied? Or how do we compensate this person according to the injury that he suffered? And as for death, also in death, it happens. People look at life expectation. If this person had survived, how much money would this person have made at the time? If this person was working, how much money was this person making? That is where the lawyers will sit down and assess those issues into consideration, and then put up a figure. At the end of the day, you need to come up with a figure. So if you feel that the compensation that you have given is not enough, you can still go ahead and claim. You can appeal. But if you are satisfied with whatever you are claiming for, probably Tayari had even claimed more. Most people claim more money, but because the court will always look at all the situations involved. There's what we call contributory negligence as well. What was Tayari doing at the time? Was he obligated to be where he ordered to point a gun at him? And with him, it was daylight, and it was even televised on national television. Now you can imagine, he's got evidence. Everyone has evidence. Everyone can attest to that because we saw it live. And he decided to sue the state. Where it is entirely his prerogative. It is entirely up to him to sue the state at any time he feels like. However, there's what we call limitation. There's time limitation. If he's within the line, within his time frame to claim for compensation, then his matter will be heard. You talked about William Banda, that whose case was happened in 2017. Was William Banda's case within his limit, the time limit? So was it stale? Was his case stale? If it was not stale, then the court would entertain it. But if it was stale, the court would have just thrown it away, using the reasons to say this case is statute bad. So there are limitations in your claims. So when you are beaten by the police today, you can still come up with a legal action after 3 years or 4 years, even 10 years. But it will be up to the court. And looking at your claim, when was this? What happened? Why didn't you take up this matter that time? Why do you want to take up this matter now? What has precipitated you to do it now instead of then? And what does the law say when it comes to limitation? When can you put up a claim? You cannot sue Kaunda for Inkongole Iachitike 1964. When you go to court, they'll simply look at you and say, Imwe Kalaleni. So there are those issues that you have to take into account.
Okay.
So
yeah. Let me just bring in the voice of one of our parliamentarians, and just listen to what he has to say concerning this particular trend that we are having in Zambia at this point in time. I'll remind our viewers that please, we would love to hear from you. Ensure that you comment on whatever social media platform you are watching us from, and we'll be glad to hear what you have to say. Let us see what one of our parliamentarians has to say over this, and then we'll get to meet on the other side.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fellow countrymen, fellow Zambians. Just as a matter of concern, as a Zambian, I think some things when they are spoken and you hear as the government in power, it's better to listen and act positively. I am one of those that has been concerned about the Attorney General's awarding of compensation to certain individuals for certain things that might have happened to them whilst in opposition. I think the Attorney General is very insensitive, very, very insensitive to this thing. The people in the country are crying out for the hard economy, for the high cost of living, and then you wake up every time and you read about this big figure politician being awarded with so much amount as compensation. Some of us spent a night in the cells. Go to Luapula in Imansa, where I was put in the cells on trumped up charges by the PF government, the Deputy Permanent Secretary for Luapula province then. And I slept in the cells. And it has just died out like that. So the Attorney General needs to be sensitive. If he's a Zambian, a concerned Zambian, the way he's awarding taxpayers' money to his colleagues in the ruling government leaves much to be desired. So we are appealing to the President of the Republic of Zambia. That's why his principle number one. I think President Hakainde Hichilema needs to understand that he is the number one citizen who everybody is looking at. Everyone, even these people that are fighting him, the opposition, whatever they say.
zuwa usiku na mzao titi ngaleko na kandalama kana titi nako bati vantu watenga ndalama za mahala just be pointed by a gun. How many people in Zambia have been pointed by a gun? How much have you given them? No. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Because mwatipisha manje mparliament. Mwatipisha mparliament manje. Mwasala manje mufuna kuba manje. Mubere vantu wa Mzambia imwe. Wakawalala. Shit. You are stealing for our children. And then you are thinking that you are happy. Rubbish. Can you take that money back? No. This is too much. This is too much. Where is Zambia going? Wana watu wazakapeza chani, wazapeza wakawala na masiri za ndalama zonse. Kuba. Na masivo 70 sumu wapasa, mungu wadiela masuku pa mtu wakawala la imwe. Ngalani na mitima za mushe wakawala la imwe. That's why yonse ma voices mu parliament yamene yakambira bantu mwayachosa kuti muube manje muchinje ma standing orders mukaziba manje. No. Wa president chitamponi something. Wa president do something. Kupeta uke titende ola tiribe unga tifuna lirifu bati sumuleta lirifu mulibiza musakira mobera wakawalala imwe. Manzi tiribe mwenzo kamba manzi mzatete sumutiletera vantu muwapasa maloni ma 10,000 kutaka bweze 60,000 60 bag nishivalimira chabe government kutaka wakazilimira wamenemwe mukazipasa na ndalama noziba ndalama wakawalala imwe. No. Work for money. Not just because you have been pointed by a gun. Then you want a lot of money. Where?
I'll Himba to come in and react to those particular views that have come in, and also as you react to that, I'll ask you to bring in the issue of just bring in the issue of how the public perception, I should put it like that. How do you think the public is actually receiving this particular news? Because obviously, even some UPND platforms are also condemning this.
Okay, thank you so much. You know what? Ninseka bantu munjerereko mwe bantu naseka mwalishwe nseko tetushika tenga nashisa fuseka fiwaseka. At the first video, his reaction are personal, in which I respect so much. But my question is, he's saying he was Benzabana Bamanga Bali Bakaka during that time. Did he go to the court? Did he take the case to court that he should be compensated? I would have loved him to go that much. Say, okay, but now under the case is, and he's been pushing for that case. He's saying the case has just died a natural death. Did he go to the local court? Did he complain? Or Bafunache, like, because he was as I'm saying, kula mulo kulibe ma shortcuts, kula mulo kulibe ma assumptions, kula mulo kulibe common sense. You know, they don't just wake up and say, oh, because that's not the way things work. There's a procedure. You know, that's why rule of law is a little bit difficult. And sometimes you may think, but it's the procedure and the process, you know. So the first person who spoke, I would love that they go to the government. Let them take the courts. If they need compensation, let them go to the courts and let them be compensated. Would love to hear If the government will do nothing or the courts will do nothing about it, then we can join hands with him to advocate that he should be compensated. But if there's no step he has done, baba kumanga chewa choka mmasales waziri atoka I was treated unfair, then wankalazi, then you expect the government to come back out nakumanga ya mahala bwela tukushite compensate. Things don't work like that. He also raised the concern that the way the Attorney General is handling the matter, he's not happy. That is his personal opinion, which I respect. But I want to react so much from the Member of Parliament for Petauke. I'm sure this is, this is Mr. JJ Banda. In the first place, insoni ebuntu. Munjeleleko insoni ebuntu. Secondly, those tears I saw, abakulu bonse banjibukisha lyatwale abayiche lyatwale ekulati muledi obwali basende inamaba nobeelo wafuitelo wayayimirira pambali yolerira abanobe baledi obwali na manje opatikiza misozi kuti ichoke mumenzo ya even squeezing your eyes for misozi kuchoka. That is, for me, the reaction from the Member of Parliament. Believe you me, that is embarrassment. Insoni ebuntu. I mean, and I think, I'm sorry to say, if I sound so rude and arrogant, but it is what it is. To me, I feel he has expressed a lot of ignorance in his speech. In the first place, Nwandani Wanasia Milandu, who were so careless to handle these matters. Already, even the people who were arrested with President HH, they've also been compensated, if I'm not mistaken, who were so careless kwamba benzochita ukuruku wao wauchita ukuruku, and now people are reacting and people are cleaning their dirty. He's saying mwatipisha parliament. These MPs were voted to parliament to go and speak for the vulnerable people, to go and speak for the pure Zambian people. They went kuja bambosovela parliament, bambochita drama. Lamulo ni lamulo. They all visited them. They were sent out of parliament. None of them voted for them to go and to challenge the leaders to do what? That's not what they were voted for. They were voted to go and implement or to go and pass laws on behalf of us, the Zambian people. But because they looked at their personal interest, now he's outside the gate and he's saying, Munatipisha parliament drama. I would have loved him to come out like this. Pekwenze mafire tenders ya jana guliwa. Kwekwenze nkani yamu nkwala. Sembe wanalila the same way he's crying. I would have said, for me, his tears, believe you me, and his sins, zipatikiza misozi uchoke kumenzo. To me, that is crocodile tears, and I would say insoni ebuntu. They would have represented us very well than what they did. Whatever mess we are in, the mud we are in, it was created by them. If they handled these matters responsibly when they were in power, I don't think we would have landed ourselves where we are now. And
before I switch on to Mukelabai, I will ask you, does the government have the money to be dishing out like this, looking at the fact that there are many people who have gone through most of these things? And it's not only in PF, even now this is happening. I'll give you an example of Mumbipiri. If the people that spent 127 days in prison with the president got away with 6.3 million kwacha each as compensation after the nolle prosequi they entered into, the Attorney General entered into, how much does Mumbipiri deserve for the 427 days and 29 days that she also was in prison, also having gotten the same nolle prosequi that was given to those co-accused with the president then? Does the government have this kind of money to be giving out like this?
Lawrence, I don't care whether the government has money or they don't have. If they mistreat the Zambian people, let the government look for money and compensate those people. That's why the people in power, they should be responsible and make the right decisions. And if Mumbipiri deserves 10 million, let it be given to her. That's why we should have the right people in authority to make the right decisions. And as I conclude, this is one point I wanted to act on. You know, one of the psychologists said, if you want to bring development in your country, you have to fight this one giant called ignorance. And ignorance is what is killing us, the Zambian people. Let's have interest to learn more. Let's have interest to dig more about these issues, and let us know what belongs to us and what doesn't belong to us. If the government will keep on making wrong decisions, let them pay the Zambian people, because we don't put them into power to victimize us, to infringe on our rights. We put them into power, or we usher them into these offices to make the right decisions. So ababa mdala efyo bachilalila ba JJ nefyo balelanda tafile pangapo na sense. It's not making sense. They are the one who've landed us into this mess. If they made right decisions when they were in power, we're not going. And he should know that when we send them to parliament, we don't send them to go and make comments there, to go and try to prove or to say as if they are grade 12s who are writing exams. If they actually behave back with Shama school, we send them there to go and make laws to represent us well. I submit.
Okay, Mukelabai, I'll bring you in as well, and I'll also ask, on top of the videos that we have, I'll also ask you the same question I asked Himba. If the government really has the resources to pay off everyone who was crushed by the police, who was done, because a lot of people out there, in fact, most of the times when police are chasing criminals, they'll point a gun at you and say, hey, stop there. They'll point a gun at you. Everybody who has ever gone through that deserves a 530,000 kwacha, and everybody who feels they have been probably spent a night in cells for things that they did not commit deserves some compensation. I also brought in the issue of people like Mumbipiri, who actually spent we are looking at almost 3 times the number of days that those HH co-accused spent in prison. Does she also deserve the same amount of kind of compensation that the others got? Are we going to suffice?
Well, thank you so much. You know, sometimes it is important to read and to know your rights as citizens. Don't just speculate and start reacting on a case that is legit and that was legally done. There's nothing illegal by compensating a minister or compensating those that whose rights were violated. The state has the duty to take care of its own people, and the state can be sued if one of its employees, who are the civil servants, act carelessly, and where they injure, a third party is injured, vicariously the state is liable. However, this does not exonerate the person that caused the state to cough out that money. This does not exonerate that person. The state can compensate people, but at the same time, the state can go down to that individual who committed that offense, who made the state to pay that money. The state can actually discipline that person, either by forfeiting his pay or his retirement. They can do that. The state has the right, you know. So that's why when you are working, you're an employee of an employer, and you, in the line of duty, commit or damage or injures a third part, they will go. The person that will sue the person, your employer, who in this case has the deeper pocket. And then the employer will come back to you, the employee that injured the third part, whilst in line of duty. They will look at your actions, where your actions within the right company policies or within the government policies. If you acted differently, the company has the right to even dismiss you from work, or they have the right to forfeit your terminal benefits or your retirement benefits. This is where we tell the police officers, we tell the civil servants, we tell these people that are in government, to say be careful in how you handle yourself and how you perform your duties, because if you kill someone in the line of duty and you think you've gotten away with that, wait until you are paid your retirement. This is when you're going to cry, because the Minister of Finance, they will go through the payments and they will see that there was a caveat on your payments and they can deduct from you. The government has the way to recover its money. They can cough out money. Yes, they can pay out because the citizens, they were injured. Anyone that has been arrested unlawfully, or that has gone through trial and tribulations, or charged on Trump charges, on fake frivolous allegations, if you have a good case and you have a cause of action, you can actually go to court and sue the state and sue together with the person that did the act. So there's nothing wrong, there's nothing sinister, there's nothing wrong that the government has done or the attorney has done to pay out those whose rights were violated. And those cases that were in court or have been resolved, that is okay. It is within the law. So no matter how much you may cry, you may complain, you are just wasting your time because you have no idea. That's why Himba even said the problem is ignorance. When you have no clue, you will start crying in front of the national television for nothing, for a case that has been done within the law. There's nothing sinister, there's no illegality about this case. It is okay, it is within the same law. As for Mumbipili, if Mumbipili was charged, because what you are doing is you are comparing Mumbipili to those that were arrested with HH. Look at the charges. Were those charges that were slapped on HH together with his, were they appropriate charges on them, or was it politically motivated and it was just, those were frivolous charges? And that's why the case did not go anywhere. As for Mumbipili, somebody died, and she happened to be a part of that incident. She was a suspect. She was within. So the court, the prosecutors or the police had the right to arrest her and charge her. And if they decided to enter a nolle, which a nolle is unquestionable, we cannot question a nolle. It is in our constitution that a DPP can discontinue a case at any given time. Even when we try to argue, challenge, the DPP was using his prerogative, the power given by him by the constitution, by the Zambian people. So if Mumbipili thinks she has a good case, let her try to go to court. And this is where you find that even that case herself, she may not even have taken the case because she knows that she has no claim, because the state was within their right to arrest her and was within their right to imprison her, to remind her in prison. And the state was within the right to even enter a nolle. A nolle does not mean you have been acquitted. It's a discharge that you can be rearrested at any time. That's why when a nolle prosecute is entered, you are told, please run, because the state can go back to you and rearrest you. But when you are acquitted, you can walk majestically in the courts of law, even dance if you want. If you are not cited with contempt, you can do anything you want because you are free, you have been acquitted. A discharge and an acquittal, they are two different issues. So people should learn to read. Let us read, or let us ask the lawyers to help us to interpret certain devices. If we look at it, if we look at this issue from the political lens and from the opposition lens, we see those speculations that are coming forth, where you are now accusing the government of abusing its whatever, paying out so much money. The government has the right to pay anybody that whose rights are who has a consent judgment. They can pay. If they abrogate that, then the government will pay more. So which one is which? The Attorney General is within the right, within his power to issue or to compensate those whose rights were violated. Anybody has the right to sue the state if you have a case or if you have a cause, a probable cause to sue. Anyone can sue, but depends on cases. Each case is decided on merit, in its own way, how it happened, where it happened from, and facts with evidence. If you have a bad case, you cannot be compensated, my dear. You can go to court and sue and claim for compensation, and your case will be thrown out. It's not that because the judges, they hate you. No, because you have a bad case. The police can arrest a suspect and keep you in custody for more than 48 hours or even more, if they have a reason to justify. And if that justification is understood and taken by the court, then, my friend, your claim for forced imprisonment or forced unlawful arrest will fall out. But as for the other gentlemen that were charged, those were entitled. Let us now look at who caused these compensations to be paid. Why are we not now looking at the people that precipitated this issue to happen? Those are the people that we need to look at and ask, can we recover this money from these people who unlawfully decided to kill, to shoot, to point a gun at an individual during daylight time? Was that lawful? Now you are parting away with 450,000 kwacha. Why? That is what we should cry about, not the person that is trying to fix the problem. Tayari could have been paid even 10 million for just that act. Go to America and see how many people are being paid for such kind of damages. We are lucky he got away with 400, and this probably may have been done ex securia, outside court settlement. Had this matter gone to court, he could have claimed for 20 million, and the government was going to pay. Sure.
The question now, going forward, looking at the fact that there seems to be a precedence on how these issues are being executed by the Attorney General, should we therefore expect that whoever feels has got cause and sues the state will actually get an out-of-court settlement by the Attorney General?
That's not the case.
It's like everyone. Let me finish the question. So far, all the top officials in the UPND who have done this, none of them has gone to court to even wait for the court to pronounce these issues, where they will be by the book. This time around, everything is being sorted out of court, and that is now where the problem is. Also, there are some sects of opposition that are trying to marry these particular happenings to the removal of the previous Attorney General, who they feel probably This is the reason why the previous Attorney General had to be removed, so that cases even from as way back as 2017 can now be brought, and they will be money will be given just like that without going to court.
Lipileni abantu omwakongwela indalama. Lipileni, this government has shown you that pensioners, retirees are being paid their monies. There's no more waiting. Huh? Employees, council workers are being paid. There's no more salary arrears. There are so many people that are being paid, including the contractors that were given money, that performed some jobs and they were not paid. Today, this government is busy paying back those people. What is wrong? What is wrong with this government to pay the people that were tortured, that were assaulted, that were killed, that were imprisoned by the state itself? What would stop them? Why would it be so wrong when they are busy compensating the people whose rights were violated? There's nothing wrong. If you as a Zambian, you are part and parcel of you have a case against the state and you wish to sue the state, nobody is stopping you. Nobody will stop you. The problem is those people who want to claim persecution, who want to claim unlawful detention, they don't have cases because their cases are legit. They were arrested or forced or imprisoned legally. They have no claim. If they want to go to court, they can go. They will be compensated ka-3 because you don't even have any case. So why would you even bother? That's why some of them, they don't even bother to take the matter to court. At an advice, from the advice that you get from your lawyer, you will be told this case, my dear, is a non-starter. Even if you pursue this matter, it will never go. Even if you get some compensation, it will be minimal 5 pin, which will go to your legal fees. So the best thing you can do is just go home and stay. That is what we tell people. But if you have a proper legal case that can hold water, then you can go. Like Hakainde Ichilema, on that treason charge. Even today, if he wants, HH can sue the state. He will be compensated. That, and the question is, who was in charge at the time that made Hakainde to be charged? That would make this government to cough out those millions of kwacha. That's the person we should look at, and that's the person we should attack or claim our money, because this is our citizen, this is taxpayers' money. So what the Attorney General is doing is within the law. He has not abrogated any law. These cries are just, you are just being political. You are politicizing issues that are legit. Don't politicize the compensations by the state. If you have a problem, go to court and appeal. You as an individual, you have also the right. As a citizen, you can go to court and file in your complaint to challenge this compensation. You can do that. Don't go on social media and start ranting. What are you going to? Chilufya is going. I mean, what's his name? Tayari, he's going to receive his money. Maybe, probably, the money is already in his account. You are busy ranting on. Go to court. Put up a stop. Go and maybe press a. Go and apply for an injunction to stop this transaction from happening, so that you could hear your claim instead of you coming on social media or cry because of you're being suspended for your own foolishness. To me, that is childish.
Let me just be at a point where we start winding up. because I know this particular topic is very interesting and brings out a lot of the sides of governance into one topic. Here we have the judiciary in question. We also have the economics coming into play, and also obviously the public perception also coming in. It's quite broad, and it's one thing that we can talk about over and over and over and over. But let me bring in Himba first and foremost to just marry her conclusion remarks, and also uh, uh, help us understand um, of all these times that we've seen persecutions happening and forced arrest, wrong imprisonments, and things like that happening. Why is it that it is only now when the UPND is in power that everybody thinks of bringing up all those past issues and remembering them, and they are now resurrecting them and trying to claim money out of them? Why now and not back then? I'll ask again because um, um, at least if someone had sued previously and maybe cases didn't go according to the way they hoped for, maybe if it was appeals we could understand, but uh, everything is just starting now, and it's like the moment the first person was given, everybody is following suit. That is why we are seeing the most recent filed in case, that is of William Banda, which was reported actually on the 15th of this particular month, and for an incident that happened in April 2017. Why is everybody in a hurry? Is it Chaboka Kukside?
There's nothing like Chaboka. The answer is straightforward. People, they've gained confidence in the judicial system. That's it. There's no way they would have gone in the past when they even you even know that the system is rotten. Now it's because now the citizens are gaining confidence when they know that they are going to be given a fair trial and they'll be heard. Now I want to also talk about this write up from the UPND page, which is a UK chapter. I think let us not, as we are analyzing this issue, or as we are trying to comment, let's start first by one, Tichosepo Mazina, Minister Tayali. Let's look at Tayali as an individual and as a Zambian person. Secondly, if you look at this article, I've looked at it from this angle. This person, or the people who wrote this article, their angle they are coming from, it makes sense. And these are UPND members, right? Who are saying, but Tayali, we have everyone at party level now, because Tayali is a member of UPND, and also these people who were killed, they're also members of UPND. So if Tayali has been compensated, why can't also this be compensated as the members of UPND? My reaction is this case is beyond members of the UPND. These cases are now being looked at as Zambian citizen against the government. So these who are writing in this angle they are coming in, they are 100% correct, because these are saying we are also members of the UPND. Party level, but the matter is not. This is not a party issue. This is an issue. This is a legal issue which has to do with the judiciary system. But if there's such kind of thing, let the UPND members also talk to their UPND leaders and say, look, if we've not been compensated and our friends, they've not been compensated, we would love to be compensated as the members of the UPND under the UPND party, because we also fought for the government and we went through a lot. We were traumatized. We are looking at being compensated from the party and being appreciated. Apart from that, if they want to go further, let them take all the issues they have, especially, I know a lot of UPND members were being victimized, were harassed, they lost a lot of things, they are being traumatized with their families. Let them take all the matters to court. Let the matters go to court. So there are two ways which the UPND members can fight their cases. One is to cry from the party to say we need compensation and we need to benefit as the UPND members, and also go to the government the legal way and say, we need to pay us. Nasara na mfuti muhipu. Mfuti bullet nasara na muhipu. I need to be compensated. Mwana wanga banapaya. During this, as long as Mukelabai has said, you can fight your case. Go and fight for your case. If the government should pay the people, we don't care whether it was PF who was in government. We don't care whether it is UPN which is in government at the moment. Let the Zambian people be compensated. Let the Zambian people be well looked after. And when we are looking at this case, my fellow citizen, but people are reacting like this. The community or the People's Court is reacting like this because we are looking at it from the political angle. Let's remove this political jacket and we look at the way things are. And then we'll be able to have a very focused opinion.
As well to just do the same. Please remember that you should also give your concluding remarks.
Well, Honorable Tayali is a lawyer by profession, and he knew what he was getting into, and
Actually,
he knows.
Stop saying honorable. Call him Mr. Tayali as a Zambian.
He is entitled to take a matter to court. He is entitled to sue anybody of his choice, anybody that violates or come before him and point a gun at him. He can simply sue, and nobody can stop him from taking any action. Anybody in the country, Zambia, can sue for unliquidated damages or liquidated damages. You can sue when you don't know what you are claiming for, because you have been apprehensive, you have suffered trauma, you have been traumatized. You cannot put a figure to an amount or any amount to the fear, to the trauma that you suffered. That is where we call those claims as liquidated damages. So you can claim, you go to court and pray. And this is where you can also come in with your punitive. If you want, you can say, because of this, I want this much. Now it's up to the court to decide which is he being reasonable with his claim, you know? And if you have a good claim, the court may simply agree with you and award you with what you want. So the people, any person in the country, anybody, any citizen whose rights have been violated has the right to go to seek redress, either to the court of law, or you can resolve the matter. You can actually try to demand administrative action, where you can sit down outside court, where you claim from some kind of settlement. It is all legal. It is not illegal to do those things, to claim. And when you are given, you have all the right to appeal. If the amount is little, you have the right to even reject or claim for more. And if you, as an individual, as a country, as citizens, you are concerned at the manner in which the court is busy awarding, you have the right, if you are not part and parcel of that action, then you can simply institute legal action as well. You can petition, you can appeal, you can even put a stop order. You can apply for an injunction, a restraining order from the government from paying this gentleman until your claim or your case is heard. But do you have that time? Do you have the claim? Is your claim valid? That is the question that we should now look at. So if this gentleman that were compensated, these people that have been compensated, had a probable cause and their cases were heard, please do not waste much of your time. Go to court, and if you are not happy, go to court and apply. Michael Chilufya Sata, I will just give you an example. Michael Chilufya Sata had drunk some foreign particles in a Coca-Cola or in one of the drinks, I don't know. And he went to court. He sued the Coca-Cola company. Guess how much he was paid? He was given a lot of money, colossal sum of money. The court ordered almost, I don't know, I forgot the case, but he was given almost 20 or 40 million kwacha by then. That was a lot of money. But then the company appealed and went to the Supreme Court that time before the Concord was made. He went to Concord. Chilufya Sata was given 2 million. Was it 2 million or 200? And that's the precedent that was there now. People have been using that because there was an appeal and the case was reversed by the Supreme Court because they looked at but did we see people crying like the way we see today? By then, Sata was in an opposition and he was just coming out of the of MMD at that time. If your memory serves you correct, go through your archives and read. You will find out to say Chilufya, Tayali, Minister of Transport, he is within the right. And if anything, Indalama Chepa. They should have actually given him more, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me thank you so much for your submission and for your presence on this particular program. We appreciate each and everybody who was watching this program and who joined us. Please remember that this program is actually available on the very same social media platform for rewatch at any time that you have you have the chance to go through it, and we will appreciate your comment even after that. Remember, tomorrow Ubuntu channel will be back with Meet Your Leaders, and please join Chaza and Lance as they bring you different kinds of people who are holding influential positions in various organizations, and you get to know them and also hear them talk about various topics of discussion. Remember, this has been Ubuntu Politics, which we do every Tuesday. Remember, you can join us on Tuesday again for another exciting topic. From myself, Lawrence, and the Himba on the other side, also Mukelabai, and also not forgetting the man on the controls, Mr. Nkunika. We say good night and thank you so much for your time.